Hyde's thrown his helmet away. Brandon Hyde is pointing at the Yankees dugout, and the benches have emptied. Umpires trying to hold the players and coaches back. Brandon Hyde went right at Jose Trevino in the Yankee dugout. Here come the bullpen sprinting onto the field.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
Good Saturday morning with all of you out there. Welcome to another edition of 757 Saturday Sports Talk. I was on the road, or I could say away from the 757 area code about 3 weeks ago when I was in Springfield at the St. James Complex for VHSL and VISAA live period basketball action. And now we sent Ed Young on assignment, ladies and gents. But thanks to the great part of technology that we have, the source of technology, I should say, that we have, and the internet and the world that we live in now, you can travel and see and hear Ed Young, who has a face for podcasts now, as he's donning the swoosh and rooting for his big bad Yankees fresh off their brouhaha last night with the Baltimore Orioles trying to get back on the winning track, as those two teams have been sputtering lately, and the O's division lead is slipping, but the Yanks have not been that impressive. So good morning, sir. How are your travels? You haven't run over any squirrels or rabbits or gone into any trees yet, have you?
No, travel's been okay. I'm amazed I'm on because I was having some technical difficulties at first. It said to hit the icon, 3 dots, click this, click that. First of all, there was no 3 dots. So then I had to go to plan B, which said, go to Safari. I don't know where that is. I thought it was in Egypt or in the jungle. And then you got to cut and paste. Now, I don't see no scissors in this, and I don't know where the paste is. So how are we doing cut and paste when that should have been back in 3rd grade? So somehow, some way, I willed it to happen, and I'm on.
You're not a cut and paste guy? I thought you liked cutting and pasting.
Yeah, when I was in elementary school, boy, I was one of the best at that cut and paste, man. I haven't done that in a while. But it said here to cut and paste and look for your browser. Okay, where's the browser? Where's the scissors and where's the paste? I mean, you got to give me the tools. I can do it once I have the tools. Well, so anyways, by the good Lord saying, let me help this guy before something bad happens.
Listen, I'm impressed that you got on before the 10:45 a.m. Eastern mark, like last week when we had the show, and we had to start off without you when we talked with Chris Higgins of Atlantic Shores and Nick Mace, former Ocean Lakes coach, on the program. And by the way, I want to apologize out of the gate for Edward. We did not get Seth Greenberg as we had hoped. We will effort him for another time. He has been everywhere I turn, by the way. He's on ESPN or ESPN2, whether it's First Take or Sports Center or this or that. So maybe he just got tired of you. But we are going to have Phil Steele next week. College football expert. We had Paul Stone on last week, and we do have some other special surprises in store for you. A lot of football coaches, as I put out this morning. Whatever you all want to talk about in the world of sports, it's here for you, whether it be high school, local, regional, statewide, action, college sports, video game coming out next week, the NCAA football game. I got my new Xbox that I'm all ready to rock and roll and play as Old Dominion or James Madison or UVA or Virginia Tech. And NFL not too far off in the distance, so all kinds of things. MLB All-Star Game, do you care about that? You may not. NBA Summer League, do you care about that? You may or may not. Home Run Derby, do you care about that? You may not. Who's going to be our next president? Maybe people don't really care about that too much right now. All kinds of things going on in the world that we can peruse and chat and discuss and have interaction with all of you. We appreciate it for you tuning in through Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or X as they call it. And all kinds of things happening. And we'll see if Ed does make it to Camden Yards. That is where you're going, right? Camden Yards in one piece?
Yeah, I'm going up there for reinforcements in case the Yankees need some more backup power right in the kisser work. I'll be on the field. They might have to drag me off. Brandon Hyde's trying to cause some controversy. We didn't hit the kid at Kirtland, a Tidewater guy, a Norfolk Tide guy.
Heston Kjerstad. I think you just butchered his name, by the way. Heston Kjerstad. Yeah. Nice job by you. In no relation to Tim Kirkchin, who we did have on the show about a month ago.
That's what his game is. The key is this. We didn't try to hit the kid on purpose. We hope he's okay. I mean, it's humid out. It's raining out. He didn't have a grip on the ball. I think it was 0-2. Why would you hit somebody in the head on purpose if it's 0-2 on a guy?
I confirm that rumor, Derek. By the way, on the screen, he says, rumor is that Coach Young instigated the brawl between the O's and Yankees. Absolutely. He's the one that started it. He's now going to go finish it. But I will, in all seriousness, joking aside, I will agree with you. I always love the fan bases, whether you're rooting for the Orioles, like many of our viewers probably are, or you're a Yankees fan, unfortunately, like Ed and others out there. I say that a little bit tongue-in-cheek, somewhat serious. You know what? These things, people want to pin blame or say it's so-and-so's fault. Bottom line is, it doesn't matter. It's about the results on the field. And quite honestly, your Yankees got a good result, though they've been missing Giancarlo Stanton and Anthony Rizzo. Ben Rice had a 3-homer day last Saturday, but they've lost a gazillion series in a row, including 2 of 3 at home to the Boston Red Sox, who are surging to the point now where they might actually put some pressure on both the O's and the Yanks. And I'm even more stunned, Ed, that the Orioles got swept at home by the Cubbies. But I will say this. A lot of teams are limping to the All-Star break. Phillies banged up the Dodgers. The Guardians, who are in first in the AL Central, had trouble with the Detroit Tigers dropping 3 of 4 at home in that series. The Orioles not playing really as sharp. So I think, like in a lot of sports, you'll see that point where they're looking for the bye week in pro football, basketball, just get to the All-Star break, tread a little water. It's a long season. It's a marathon, not a sprint, 162 games. So I would not press the panic button or overreact, whether you're rooting for, say, the Dodgers, the Braves, who had a big bad spell for a while there, then got out of it, split with my D-backs. Say Ed's Yanks, the O's out there, whoever you are, you have to, take it with a grain of salt. Even the Mets, who are red hot right now, despite their bullpen woes, they're now in the wild card picture in the National League. Who would have thought that when the guy threw his glove and said, worst team in the sport, and he got run out of town? Take it with a grain of salt. It's a long season. Things can change quickly. 2 weeks from now, we could be talking about the Yankees winning 8 of 9 or the Orioles back on top and looking sharp and as good as can be. So it can change very quickly in sports, very quickly.
Well, you're looking at a lot of things. Number one, my Yankees, well, I saw the stats since June 13th, they're the worst team in Major League Baseball. I understand that. And the problem is they started off so great. Everybody was hitting like crazy. Pitching was super with no Garrett Cole. Bullpen was excellent. Their standard went too high. Now they come back crashing back to earth, and these Yankee fans are ready to fire everybody from the bat boy to the owner. And again, they still have, like, if I'm not mistaken, 4th, 5th best record in baseball. That's still playoffs. And if they win 100 games, which might be doubtful right now, that means they're going to lose 62. So to lose 62 games, you're a pretty good team. So calm down. But I will say this. They do look at times very listless out there playing. And Aaron Boone is too much of a laid-back guy, I think, for that team. And I'm not an advocate of fire the manager, fire the coach. I'm the guy that says get rid of the players if they're not doing their job. But Boone needs to light fires under people. Gleyber Torres, sit him. There's times he hasn't run out balls. He hasn't played with the potential he has. He's not hitting quite what he wants. He's not going to re-sign. The Yankees will not re-sign him. They're not going to get anything for him. Sit him. Now, the problem is who you're going to get. You got to go. They just brought up a minor leaguer the other day, 22-year-old kid. They didn't play him yet. See what he can do. Ben Rice came up, as you said, hit the 3 homers last Saturday. Been a pleasant surprise. Judge is in a slump, even though he carried the team. Soto's here, there, and every which way, but he's a tremendous talent. Pitching has fallen apart. Bullpen is messed up. And they're like many other teams in the race. They're going to need a couple arms. They're going to need another bat. I do not think you're going to see crazy trading at the deadline this year. I'm the opposite of what a lot of the experts are saying. You're going to see a lot of movement. I don't think you are. I really don't. I think there's too many teams that feel they're in contention. They're going to go with what they have. Nobody's going to hand the Yankees a championship on the silver platter. They're going to make it hard. They're going to demand, every good young kid they got. Baltimore, I think, holds the chips. They have some really good youngsters in their farm system. Got a few guys that can unload on their major league roster, and they do need some arms. Everybody needs arms. That's why I don't think you'll see a lot of trades. Everybody needs pitching, whether it's starting or bullpen. So, to some of my Yankee fans, and I'm on a Yankee Yankee club. They are just ruthless. They were even jumping on me when I said, man, y'all got to calm down. Everything's all right. They were telling me, get out for this. You must be a Met fan. I'm like, what? It's crazy. And I'll tell you what, I gotta give credit where it's due. The Diamondbacks are the team. The Snakes are sleeking in the grass right now, just like they did last year. And I heard this week on a couple shows that when some of the experts were asked, who's that team that's going to win 83, 84 games, 88 games, and still make playoffs and can be a winner? And everybody said, just like last year, the Diamondbacks. I said, Lord jeez, Hatfield will be.
That's right.
Shenanigans.
Look at that A, baby.
All-time high.
A+. A+. Well, They have gotten Zach Gallen back. There are still some questions in the bullpen. Paul Sewald, who was acquired and did a good job early, had that bad game one in the World Series against Texas. He spit the bit the other night against the Braves. Otherwise, they would have taken that series. But you never know. Christian Walker got snubbed from the All-Star team. Ketel Marte is outstanding. Corbin Carroll's having a little bit of a sophomore slump. But a lot can happen between now and then. They need to get some bullpen help like a lot of teams do. I'm not sure they can have that magic carpet ride again. But that Yankee report was brought to you by, well, you can be the one that brings it to us here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk on Cova Sports TV. I do want to hit on before we go to break. And we do have a special guest today that will join us. Sonny Dearth, longtime tennis aficionado, expert on tennis at all levels, professionally, locally, here statewide. He a proud Verona High School graduate, now with the Daily Press and Virginia-Pilot. Does a lot of sports work for them. Is scheduled to join us here in about 15 minutes or so on the program. But I want to go back to a couple things there that you had there, Ed. I actually agree with you. I don't think there will be a whole lot of trading, believe it or not, before the deadline. I actually am in agreement with you on that, surprisingly. I think because there are so many teams in the mix that you will not see the player movement. And now something that you sort of touched on a little bit, I want to elaborate. So many of these young prospects, their goal, they used to be just get rid of prospects because they haven't proven anything. But now the value of prospects, I think, is a lot differently than what it was, say, years ago. And two, another thing I want to hit on with the Orioles, by the way. How about they announced just a couple days ago, now with the Norfolk Tides, Colin Selby from Kansas City. And he's a proud graduate of Western Branch High School in Chesapeake, was at Randolph-Macon College. He's the 13th local high school player to play for the Tides in franchise history. The last one was another Chesapeake product out of Grassfield High School and right-handed pitcher Garrett Stallings. Selby, of course, helping Western Branch win a region championship about 9 years ago or so. Also make the state playoff, state championship in 2014, a decade ago, all region, all state, all those things. So how about that? Keeping the local train going there. And we'll see what transpires. But the Orioles will be active. I think they will do their best to get another bullpen arm, possibly even another starting pitcher, because after Corbin Burns, who is that guaranteed ace, there are some question marks as far as if they get in the playoff series again, like we saw a year ago. They won the division, lost to Texas in 3 at home. Bang, 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 you're out quickly after the wonderful season, maybe arriving earlier than some expected. Do you feel utter confidence about your number 2 and number 3 starters, which I think is also the case for a few other teams out there? I don't think it's necessarily the case for, say, the Yankees or Kansas City, who's trying to get one of those last wild cards with Boston fighting them off. But I think the Orioles and the Guardians will most be in the market for a starting pitcher in the American League. I think that in the National League, most in the market for a starting pitcher as far as premier contenders, the Dodgers without question, because you just don't know about the health of a Clayton Kershaw, whereas bullpen help will be wanted by a lot of teams. I think you have to look at certainly my D-backs as one of those teams. I think the Phillies are pretty set. I don't see them making a lot of moves. Maybe the Brewers add a bullpen arm. Maybe the Cardinals add a bullpen arm. Braves could certainly add one in the National League as they try to get one of those wild card spots. In the American League, needing a bat more than anybody is Seattle. Seattle may miss the playoffs just based on not having enough offense to go with Julio Rodriguez, Cal Raleigh, and a few of those guys, but they need a bat in the worst of ways.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm listening. It's a lot of arms. Everybody needs arms, and there's not that many good arms to go around because people aren't going to give up what they have. They're going to probably dump high-salary veterans maybe. People will look to dump guys that are in their walk year, especially if they're not performing well. Those are the kind of guys you might see moved around. But again, why would you trade prospects for a guy that you can sign in the offseason? Unless, you're right in the thick of things like the Orioles, the Yankees, Red Sox. then you feel that guy is going to be the one that maybe gets you over that hump, then you're going to do that. But you're still not going to mortgage the future and give up all your young guys unless you can really get a package in return. So that's why I'm really a little tepid about a lot of movement. Sometimes I've heard some of the experts say, look for a lot of guys to move because there are teams in the playoffs who haven't been, and they're moves because they think they can do something. I just don't think you're going to see it as much. Again, people taking on salary, even though people got to remember, when you trade for a player, for the most part, all you really do is pay the minimum, and the team that's trading him away pays the rest of his salary. So it's a little different than NBA, NFL situations. Also, I want to backtrack on something. Seth Greenberg did send a message out. He apologizes greatly. He has been plugged by ESPN, and you hit it. There's some guys out and about, so they've been grabbing Seth to talk about the USA team a lot. And I guess when ESPN talks, Seth has to listen. That pays his bills. So he definitely apologizes. He is going to try very much to be on our show one of these Saturdays as soon as possible. And I understand that too. I mean, when ESPN is paying your bills, you're going to do whatever they ask. And he has been all over the network.
Yeah, but no, we're just we're not giving him a hard time. We love Seth. In fact, I want to pop up the picture that I was able to locate from 15 years ago at the Siegel Center in Richmond. We'll do that when he comes on the show. Good morning to Woodrow out there. He's been one of the many out there watching through IG, through Facebook, through YouTube, through VirginiaPreps.com, all the various channels. If you want to throw something our way, be it a question, a comment, a thought, whatever it might be, you can do so. We always encourage your interaction with us here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk on Cova Sports TV. Ed, a lot happening right now. You got NBA Summer League out in Vegas. You got the All-Star Game coming up. Are you one that likes the All-Star Game? You still get into it? Are you more into the Derby? I almost have found myself more into, say, the Home Run Derby because there's not much riding on the All-Star Game. I wasn't always that infatuated with it to begin with. And then B, I just feel like, you'll have a couple players opt out. It's just, it doesn't feel like any of them. Baseball has maybe the most, I guess you could say, interest or a real game because in the basketball one, let's be honest, there's no defense. The football one just became a farce and a joke, that the lack of tackling, the lack of anything. Hockey, it's all right, but it's just doesn't, I don't think you have the physical nature in that one either. What's your feel on the All-Star Game? The Home Run Derby still gets people juiced up for it. And I don't try to be funny with the juiced reference there because people always talk about home runs, this guy or whatever. I still think that it has some cash in on a Monday night there for the All-Star break. But what's your opinion and feeling on that?
I think Major League Baseball All-Star Game is the best All-Star game of them all. Football is the biggest joke. You don't even play it anymore. Basketball is a joke. They don't play no defense. They're trying to get each team to get 200 points. Hockey, I think, is probably right behind baseball. Baseball is so much is based on tradition, and through the years, those veteran guys, it was an honor to get named to go play against the other league, especially when there was no interleague play. That was big, because what league is better? Well, the best way to do it is take care of All-Star, let alone maybe win a World Series. But the All-Star game was sometimes the decision maker as who was the better league. Interleague play has watered it down. I think your happenings in football and basketball leak over into baseball, and a lot of the younger players today would rather have the time off. They don't really want to get out there, or they don't mind playing one inning. Back in the day, everybody wanted to play the whole game. So I still think baseball does the best job with it. I still think for the most part they do want to play. The Derby is great. They brought that back years ago, and I think it's tremendous. If the right guys are in it, it's almost like the slam dunk contest. If you don't have some named people that can really do some stuff, it becomes a ho-hum event. But I do like the Derby. But if they got rid of the Derby, I'd still be a big watcher of the All-Star Game, because to me that's more important than the Derby. It's funny that they don't have some other baseball skills like they do in basketball.
We don't need that. That's a waste of time. We don't want to see guys jumping over. Well, that's the dunk contest with Blake Griffin. Speaking of Blake Griffin, as I'm going to get sidetracked now before we take a break, and we do have, as you see on the screen coming up, Sonny Dearth Daily Press, Virginian-Pilot will join us here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. It is Cova Sports TV here on this Saturday, the 13th day of July, 2024. Ed, did you watch real quick, as I'll get right back to the All-Star game and the skills thing. Did you watch any of Clipped on Hulu, the documentary, or you should say the mini series, whatever you want to call it, on the Clippers? I watched it from soup to nuts. I just watched the last episode last weekend, the one about Donald Sterling and his exile from the NBA and owning the Clippers.
No, I've been meaning to watch it. I've gone to find it, and I've been meaning to watch it because I've heard from many people that it's interesting. It is good. I really haven't heard.
It's interesting. It is.
So I definitely got to have that to watch. It's important to watch. Donald Sterling did some really dumb things, and
he did.
I almost don't need to see it, knowing what he did do. But it gives you a little.
Well, it's not going to paint him out as any sympathetic figure. Real quick, I'll just get without spoiling it. I will say I thought it was really good to start. I gave it a B+ through about episode 4, or maybe it was the 4th or 5th episode where it lost me. It went a little bit backwards, and that was where I thought it lost some of its momentum. But it picked it back up towards the end. I give it about a B grade. I don't give it an A grade. It would have got a B+ without that. It could even be a B-. But the ending is a little interesting too. But you need to check that out as a basketball guy. But I'm thinking of jumping over cars and Blake Griffin, who the guy playing Blake Griffin looked nothing like Blake Griffin. That guy was Fishburne. Lawrence Fishburne did all right as Doc. And I'll be honest with you, I thought that I was about to say Al Bundy, but Ed O'Neill did all right as Sterling. Al Bundy, if I'm married with children there. But back to the skills thing. Some of those skills competitions, you had the little quarterback challenge in football. You'd have the hockey. I think hockeys are actually maybe the most, I don't want to say realistic, but somewhat interesting, or you can engage with them a little bit. But you don't need any more skills.
I got interrupted.
By the way, do what you do with pitching real quick. Do it with pitching or base running, because that you're going to have guys get hurt, and that's the last thing you need. Go ahead.
I'm getting ready to go through a tunnel, so if I lose you, you'll know why. We go to break.
Well, we're about to go to break, but go ahead.
No, but I'm just saying, on those skills, I don't mind it. It just gives us a chance to see somebody else, like in a slam dunk contest. Okay, if you're not really a dunker, then we don't know. I mean, if you watch a guy in a game, you know what they can do. But, they do some other skills, passing, whatever. Baseball, what would you do? You would have to hit fly balls to outfielders, ground balls to infielders, see if they can get to them. Would you have pitchers throw through a tire or something, or how fast can they throw? Nobody wants to throw their arm out in a contest like that. That'd be ridiculous to try to do that, because anytime you do skills, you always have to worry about somebody getting hurt in some manner. Guys won't do any of those events because it's a time to rest, or the potential of injury, especially if it's an injury prone. I have a side story trying to progress here before you go to break. How about Paul Skeens gets pulled from his no-hitter with the Pirates?
Oh, yeah.
And everybody wants to make Derek Shelton public enemy number one, including me. And
Bad
now
guy.
he's named the starting for the National League. He'll throw one inning, and now I see whether he's even trying to guess if he'll strike out the side. And he's going to be, facing people like Soto and Judge. So I'm very interested to see those matchups, because the kid has been just phenomenal as a pitcher. And this was his second time being pulled with a no-hitter going. And I understand pitch counts and whatever, but I still have too much of that old school pitcher in me, where you go out, you talk to him, he feels good. And most players are going to tell you, I'm good, I can go. And if he does, fine. I'll just simply say to this, I'm going to leave you in until you give up a hit. Then you're coming right out. And if he throws a no-hitter, that's tremendous. Who knows if he's going to get another one, though many people think he will before his career is over. But the Pirates, the team itself, needs that kind of eyesight, because they just don't do much. They finish either last or second to last almost every year. And Skeens will not be with that squad when his rookie years run out. He's going to be taken
sure
up
about
by
that? Wait, are you sure about that? He won't be there with them? Because it feels like they're all in on Paul Skeens. The mustachioed marauder Paul Skeens, by the way. You'll dig into the facial hair he's got going on. Looks like he's 39 years old, as opposed to this young pup in the game.
Well, some of the retired players that are on the thing were joking him like he has a porn stash.
Oh, don't go there. I was going to say Raleigh Fingers. You remember Raleigh Fingers, right?
Yeah. But, as far as the Pirates,
And they're 46 and 48. So hold on now. That National League, they're still alive with that. I'm not sitting there getting in there going to make this magical D-backs like run, but they're not totally dead. What's that?
I won't say no shot because they got Skeens. But
yeah, and they have some decent hitters. Brian Reynolds, McCutcheon. Their bullpen's not very good, which is the case for about 2/3 of baseball.
Anxious to see if they pick what they can pick up if they don't trade anybody and see if they get somebody. But, the problem was that they're so-called small market team money-wise, and they just have not done a great job of holding on to guys that really started taking off. Now they got O'Neal Cruz, who I think is very good. They got the kid Hayes at third base. And they've had a guy the last few years who's also made the All-Star team, Brian Reynolds, in the outfield.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, a Yankee target a few years ago.
Yeah.
They've got some players. And now lately what they have done is pick up some people in free agency, but it's guys probably a little bit towards the end of their career, not as expensive they would have been in their prime, like a Carlos Sanchez that I know that they had before now that he's gone. So, you don't know. I'd like to see him going, but right now, the way things go, can the Pirates outbid the Dodgers, Yankees, Red Sox, Padres for superstars?
Heaven
so far, the answer is no. But with Skeens, now that can change it because he's very good. Everybody in the world would love to have him. Only the 5th rookie to start an All-Star game. And if I'm not mistaken, I also heard the least amount of games pitched to start an All-Star game. He's only pitched 11 games. He came up in late May. So going to be interesting to see what they do with him. I just hope the kid don't blow his arm out because even though there's so much kid gloves put on these pitchers nowadays, give me 5 innings and we're happy. Some of these guys, they throw so hard that, boom, something pops, whether it be a shoulder or arm. And here we go. I saw another crazy stat. If I heard it correctly, I wasn't really paying attention. There have been more Tommy John surgeries in the last, I think they said 3 years.
Oh, I believe that.
40-man roster than there were in the 90s. Now, that's 10 years worth. In 3 years, you've had more surgeries than in 10 years?
Well, but it's believable because of all the arm usage and that. So it's I can see it. Hey, we're going to take a timeout because we got Sonny Dearth coming up next to talk about tennis. Jody out there wants to know on IG, why doesn't Ed Young have a chauffeur? Well, he doesn't have a Mercedes, ladies and gents. We'll have to get that thought or his reaction to that later on in this program if we have time. We've got some interview clips with some high school football coaches as I was out at the Landstown Team Camp for 2 of the nights that it happened before the rain postponed Thursdays. We'll be back hopefully next week for one of those nights. A lot going on. We've got USA field hockey action at our Sportsplex Regional Training Center right next to the Plex. And when we come back, we'll hear from Sonny. But right now, let's pay some bills and hear from some of the sponsors that make it possible for us to do this with you each and every week, including the great AstroTurf, which is the playing surface for all the football, soccer, lacrosse, and field hockey athletes at the Plex and Training Center. Be back in just a moment right here on Cova Sports TV at 757 Saturday Sports Talk.
Get ready for a season of thrills and excitement. Virginia Beach United invites you to experience the adrenaline of USL League 2 Pro Soccer. Tickets are only $10 for adults, $7 for kids, and children 5 and under are free. It's the perfect family outing filled with fun and entertainment. Secure your seats now for a season of unforgettable soccer moments with Virginia Beach United. Don't miss out.
After more than 50 years of innovation, AstroTurf still leads the way. The inventor of artificial turf does it all, right here in the USA. We engineer, test, manufacture, and install the world's most innovative fibers and turf technologies, with over 30,000 tracks and fields worldwide. AstroTurf, powered by Sport Group.
Pain and Gain, your one-stop shop for all things field hockey. Located in Princess One Shopping Center, Virginia Beach, we carry everything you need on the turf, from black sticks, turf shoes, mouth guards, and much more. Try out your stick before you buy in our synthetic turf area. Pain and Gain. Embrace the pain, enjoy the gain.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
All right, this one will make you think, folks. What starts with E, ends with E, and only has one letter in it? An envelope.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
And welcome you back to 757 Saturday Sports Talk here on Go to Sports TV, wherever you may be tuning in from YouTube, Apple, Spotify, Virginia Preps, IG, and our Facebook channels, Sports PLEX and Training School. We thank you for doing so. We've got a special guest with us, and we've had him on many years in the past on the radio side of things. He's a longtime sports fan across the entire globe. He's a Verona graduate, Atlanta Braves diehard, and he's the tennis expert. We call him Mr. Tennis in Hampton Roads and the state of Virginia. Sonny Dearth with us. Sonny, good to see you. How you been?
Good. Great to be on with you guys.
Well, we appreciate it. You can check out his work with Virginia Media. As you see, also the Virginian-Pilot 757 Teams, Pilot Online, Daily Press, dailypress.com. He does tremendous work all through all the social channels as well. Give him a follow on Twitter or X at SDearth. That's SDEARTH. Well, I want to get your thought. We got going on right now the women's Wimbledon final with two, I guess you could say, surprising seeds with Jasmine Paolini, the 7 seed, who lost the first set 6-2, came back, won the second set 6-2. It is now 1-1 in the third. And Barbora Krujikova, I'm probably butchering that. They were 100-1, 50-1. Yeah, there you go, Krujikova. And you know what? These are two. You don't have your Swiatek, your Serena Williams, Ed's favorite, if you will, and so many others that we have become accustomed to in the women's game. But to have two, if you will, I don't know if Cinderella is the right words, darlings, it's pretty neat for the sport, isn't it?
Oh, it is. Jasmine Paolini from Italy is one of the most improved players in a short time I've ever seen. She had never won a match on grass until this year. You know, she was ranked around 40 or 50, and then boom, she gets up, into around the teens in the world and reaches the final of the French Open, losing to Iga Swiatek, who's especially on clay, the world's dominant player. And then the thing is, though, doing that well in the French Open doesn't really help you much for Wimbledon because the surface is so different and the style of play is so much faster. But darn, if she hasn't gotten all the way to the finals here and has a great chance to win, I was sad for Madison Keys, who led her 5-2 in the third and then got injured and was too diminished to be able to win that match. But Jasmine Paolini has capitalized on her chance. And gosh, what an endearing smile. She really makes, she's really fun to watch. And Krejcikova won the 21 French Open, but she had been struggling since with a lot of injuries. Her elbow really betrayed her. But, when she beat Elena Rybakina in the semis, who was considered the favorite among the remaining four, that certainly said a lot right there.
Before I let Ed jump in here about the men's final coming up on Sunday, Sonny, with certainly a much anticipated battle featuring Carlos Alcaraz and Novak Djokovic. Djokovic considered one of the all-time greats. Alcaraz may get there one of these days in that conversation with the big three, if you will, we've had in recent years with Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, and Joker. Is this something you see as a trend in women's tennis now, where we don't have the mighty name at the top per se, but we could have 5, 6, 7 players in contention for some of these Grand Slam events, and you will see some double-digit seeds make it to Wimbledon semis and finals and other major semis and finals? What's your feel on it moving forward?
Yeah, I definitely think, especially on grass, it's a very unpredictable surface, and it happens to be Iga Swiatek's worst. I think Swiatek is the best player in the world the great majority of the time, and also very good is Arina Sabalenka from Belarus. But she's hurt right now, and she didn't even get to start Wimbledon this year. So without those two, it can be very unpredictable. And I mean, you probably could have gotten 2,000 to 1 at the beginning of the tournament that this would have been the final.
Talking some tennis with Mr. Tennis, Sonny Dearth here, Virginia Media. Check him out, Pilot Online, Daily Press as well. It is 757 Saturday Sports Talk on Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe. And I'm sure we'll also get Sonny's take on some players that have stood out as he covers the tennis scene, Ed, on a local front, too. We can tell all the high school and young tennis stars on the rise in our state as well. Go ahead, Coach. As he is, if you haven't tuned in yet, Sonny, Ed is on his way to Camden Yards for Orioles Yankees today to root for his Bronx Bombers to try to make
I know you like the Yankees.
Yeah, you know, first of all, great to see you. Thanks for coming on. And yeah, I got to go up there and help the Yankees out in case they're getting another fight with the Orioles from last night. So if you see them carry me off the field, you know, send the bail money, get me out of there quick.
A fascinating thing, Ed and Matt, and you may remember this from the Tides. Heston Kjerstad was hit 3 times in 3 innings.
That's
in
right.
his last minor league game. He was ejected for reacting to it. And I thought that was the most ironic thing, that when he was hit by a pitch, that's what started the brawl.
Yeah.
3 times in 3 innings.
Well, we were just talking about it, Ed. I forgot your buddy that had the season tickets, Jim Hammond. Yeah, we were sitting with the usher guy. He had brought that up to us. We were sitting up there on a concourse a couple weeks ago at a Tides game, Sonny, and he brought up about, what did he say, Ed? Something about with Kjerstad getting hit by pitches. He had brought something up to our, and wouldn't you know, it'd be the 9th inning against the Yankees where we'd have a pandemonium breakout. Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, they showed a stat where Yankees have hit 10 Oriole batters this year, and the Orioles have hit 3. I just think it boiled over. Yeah, when you get hit up in the head, I mean, come on now, that is serious stuff. But no way is that an intentional.
It wasn't intentional. No way.
No, and it's Brandon Hyde. I know he's got to protect his guys and show some fire. I get all that. But in terms of emptying the benches, I don't. It's baseball fights are a joke because they come running from the outfield. Everybody grabs everybody. You see guys laughing, and nobody really does anything. Now the Yankees they did show the fight from years ago when Daryl Strawberry was a Yankee and all that, and they were in the dugout throwing blows. Armando Benitez hit somebody, Tino Martinez, I think it was, and it was all out brawl. But not too many times in baseball. Guys, they don't know how to fight. But
we don't see too many though. Go ahead, Ed. Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're talking tennis. We're not worried about no fights in baseball. And you never see fights in tennis because it's a ladies' game. It is a gentleman's game. So this is what we got to do. Now, Sonny, I'm frustrated.
But you get emotional guys like Johnny Mack and Djokovic, though. We'll get to that later. We do get some emotional guys.
I've seen some altercations. Trust me.
Yeah.
Sonny, that's
not
my
with
point.
me, but
Sonny, that's my point. I'm losing interest in watching tennis because the stars, not celebrities, but the personalities are not really there, because it's a lot of your foreign-born players who are very focused. You don't see a lot of shenanigans by them for the most part. But there was a guy, I can't remember his name, years ago. Spain, I think he was from Spain. He was a Jimmy Connors type or John McEnroe, who would say a lot of stuff to the officials and whatever.
You don't have to be a poor sport. Just smile and enjoy it, because the athleticism, the game has never been better. It's just amazing.
You see, and that's my thing. I don't see a lot of them, on the women's side today. When they announced, the ladies got all the way to the finals, I was like, who? And I'm pushing for, is it Polina or whoever? I'm pushing for her to win. That she can win this match today. I think Joker wins it tomorrow. He's the known guy for the most part.
I disagree. We'll get Sonny's take on that, though. I disagree. Well, go ahead.
But I just think that, and I'm speaking for myself, but I'm also think I'm speaking for the average tennis fan, that we lose interest if it's not a named American player, or at least a foreign-born player who has a big name, that we say, okay, yeah, we've seen him play. He's got 20 Grand Slams. Okay. It's just the nature, I think, of tennis in itself, which is also similar to golf. I think a lot of people don't look at golf because, Tiger Woods ain't out there. There's no more Jack Nicklaus. There's no Arnold Palmer. So we don't really give these new guys a chance to shine, because there's a lot of great young players in tennis and golf.
What's
Dan
your phone,
Alcaraz, he has become a worldwide star very quickly. He's just 21, and it was a very interesting comment by Djokovic after his semifinal yesterday. He called Carlos Alcaraz the best 21-year-old ever. Given that Nadal and Federer and McEnroe and Connors and Laver and whoever else you want to go back, they were all 21 at one time. That's some pretty high praise there. And I think tomorrow, as long as both guys can stay healthy, and occasionally they've each had trouble with various things. Djokovic was his knee. He tore his meniscus. I never imagined he'd be able to do this well at Wimbledon, but he has. Alcaraz has had cramp troubles in the past, including a match he lost to Djokovic at the French Open one time. As long as they're both healthy, I think it'll be another epic like last year was. I'd give Alcaraz a slight edge. I agree with the sports books there, but I certainly think it can go either way. And I just think you can't ask for a much better final than that.
Well, I'm with you there. Go ahead, Ed.
No, but I think and what I was making a statement being the average tennis fan, if you're not really into it, the attitude of, well, I don't see any of the superstars, I'm not watching. But if you understand that sport, you play that sport, you're into that sport, i.e. me in basketball, baseball, football, you're going to understand. Here comes these youngsters. Boy, I can't wait to watch them because, your old timers don't last forever. You can't see McEnroe and Connors playing each other when they're in their 60s and 70s year old. Ain't nobody going to tune into that either. So you do got to
They tried, both of them. I mean, McEnroe still actually competes once in a while.
That's
And
right,
Connors did until about 5 years ago. But it's always fun to see those guys. And if you ever want to see longer points, got some of their old matches with Borg on YouTube. Yeah, it's still pretty incredible.
Well,
I grew up in the tennis boom.
Yeah, I want to get to that with you, Sonny, because I saw Daryl Ravel's tweet yesterday about the Djokovic-Alcaraz Wimbledon final will be the most expensive get-in finals tickets in the history of sports.
Wow. Really?
Right now, the worst seat for Sunday is more than $10,000, Ed. So a little bit of pushback. I think Ed makes a valid point, though. I think in both tennis and golf, there's some of the if you're on the middle, not a diehard fan or passion. This is a lot of sports, not just tennis and golf, but you don't relate because you don't have maybe that rivalry of those big names. We don't have Federer and Nadal anymore. You don't have the Williams sisters anymore as prevalent marquee forces. But there are a lot of young players on the rise in both, say, tennis and golf. And I feel like Sunday, Sonny, Ed's going a little bit with Djokovic leaning. You kind of answered it to us a little bit. I think Alcaraz. Now, Djokovic's story, whether you like him or not, and he's kind of been that unlikable star to some just because he hasn't handled himself in the same manner in which, say, a Nadal or Federer, but you can't dispute his accomplishments. The guy is unbelievable. To come back from the knee issue, as you mentioned, is something else. Kind of, what's your broad view of it? A, the matchup between these two, and B, can this be an epic match that people talk about for years from now, like, say, that Wimbledon final that was an epic five-setter with Nadal and Federer a couple decades ago? What do you think?
Well, yeah, I think last year's was an epic final, and if tomorrow is even half as interesting as that, it'll be great. And also, here's the thing. Djokovic, I think, clearly is the greatest player who's ever lived. He's been good on just about every surface. The thing he'll never be, and he'd like to be, but he won't, he'll never be as popular as Roger Federer or Rafael Nadal, who are, perhaps the two most popular players ever. So he plays with a chip on his shoulder. And that's part of the reason he's great. And he's really, and his devotion to physical preparation is really something. It's amazing how well he's been able to keep it going. But Alcaraz is right there with him. He's been able to use the lessons he has learned from people like Nadal and Federer and Djokovic to prepare himself even better. I mean, this should be a really great one tomorrow.
Before we let you run, we'll let Ed jump in here as well. And I also want to get your thoughts on some names people should watch out for on our local and statewide. See maybe some storylines because you follow it closely. Sonny Dearth with us, Mr. Tennis.
Yeah, I'm here right now at Princess Anne Country Club. We've got some really good players from this area and around the state right now.
Okay, yeah, we'll hit on that with you in a second. I want to do that for you before we let you run. But what would surprise you tomorrow in this final? Would it be if say Djokovic dominated Alcaraz, you could see the knee flaring up for, I guess, Joker. What would be something that surprised you, would be unexpected for Sunday in the men's final between those two? What would something kind of take you off guard, if you will?
Unexpected? If it doesn't go at least 4 sets.
Okay. So you're expecting at least a 4 or 5 set classic between those two?
I certainly am.
Okay. Ed, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, for Sonny, I know you're out there at the country club watching youngsters come up. Who are some names that here in our area that you think are going to light up the tennis world? And maybe we'll see them in some big-time professional tournament down the road.
Yeah, it's been pretty fun. I don't know if anybody's on the track to be a touring pro right now. I mean, Old Dominion has won the last 2 Sunbelt men's and women's titles. They're always fun to watch. I certainly enjoy them. Cox always has a good team. Jamestown and Grafton. I mean, I do the play-by-play online for Christopher Newport. I'm curious to see Rainer Christensen, whose dad Eric is the head coach. He's coming up as a freshman off a state championship for Grafton. That'll be fun. In my city, Newport News, Matthew Onoff won the state in Class 5, which was quite incredible. And generally, there's a lot of depth, especially in Virginia Beach. A lot of good players over here.
Yeah, you mentioned Coach Mueller, Old Dominion, doing a tremendous job over there and seeing you some good storylines. Well, we'll let you run here.
Look at Yulia Starodubtseva. I don't know how I forgot to mention her.
Yeah.
Yulia Starodubtseva, who is a former Conference USA Player of the Year of Old Dominion, has qualified for all 3 majors so far this year, and she had to win 3 matches every time to get there. So, very proud of her. And she won a set against Lulu's son, who ended up getting all the way to the, I can't remember, semis or the quarterfinals. And she's really good, and you can look for her at a lot of slams now. Yulia Starodubtseva.
Awesome. Well, hey, if folks want to check out more on the tennis scene, they can just follow all your work on Twitter. Is that the best way to do so, or X as they call it, at S-Dearth? How can they do so?
Yep, that's it.
There you go. Give them a follow. He's with Virginia Media, the Pilot Daily Press. Always appreciate the time with Mr. Tennis himself, Sonny Dearth. Hey, enjoy the time out there at Princess Anne today. We'll be looking forward to the Wimbledon final tomorrow. We got the women's final right now at 3-2. Paolini up in the 3rd set, so Ed's a little happy about that. And we'll be chatting again soon, my friend.
Okay. Thanks very much, guys. Much appreciated.
Hey, Sonny.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Before you go, Sonny, it's got to be me and you against Hatfield and a partner of his choosing.
I'll lose.
Shekels.
Listen, Sonny will beat you and me by himself. We could team up against him. He'd beat us, so we wouldn't stand much of a chance. I'd have to find a pro to beat them. I got to find a pro partner to beat you two. That's what it would be.
Yeah, I'm not playing. In my younger days, I'd play Sonny. I ain't playing him. I'll take him as a partner. Now, Sonny, I don't play the net. I don't play the net.
That's nice of you, but I'm a has-been. So.
Well, listen, a has-been is better than us, so we'll take that. Thank you, Sonny. Enjoy it. Have a good weekend.
All right. Have a good night. All right.
That's the one and only Sonny Dearth with us here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. I appreciate him coming on to he had some really good thoughts. You know what? He made a great point about Djokovic. He may never be viewed liked popularity-wise, say Federer or Nadal, but my gosh, he could be that evil villain guy. If you think so, he got to respect the dude. And if he wins tomorrow against the young Alcaraz, who beat him a year ago, it'll be something else. You think Joker's going to do it tomorrow? I kind of lean with Alcaraz in what should be 4. Maybe it takes the limit of 5 sets.
I'm picking obviously with my heart, not my head. Alcaraz probably is the better right now. But I feel like Joker,
I know. Yeah.
Joker will pull it out in some fashion, some manner. Can't last forever. He's probably to the tail end of his career too. And you got to put him up there with all the greats. There's no doubt.
Oh, he's like Sonny said, he's the best of all time. But you know what's crazy about it? Federer had him, I should say, in the Wimbledon final. I forget what year. Sonny would know if he had him on right now. On the ropes, 2 match points, and he didn't knock him out with match points. And Djokovic came, I think he was down 2-1 in the sets, came roaring back to win it. So I mean, you better squash that guy because he's like a cockroach. He will not die. So Alcaraz cannot let him hang. And last year's was a classic. I didn't get to watch last year's classic live. I was covering an AAU basketball event. I'll be home. Well, actually, I have field hockey. I won't be home to see. Well, I might be home. It depends on how long the match goes. I'm going to watch it though. I'll be curious to see. I'm looking forward to it coming up on Sunday, the Wimbledon final, as Paolini is now trailing 4-3. I think I was looking at it wrong. It's now 4-3 as Barbora Krujikova, 100 to 1, Ed, 100 to 1 to begin the tournament, is leading the Wimbledon final in the third set. Can you believe that? 100 to 1. If you had her, you'd be looking pretty with the shekels.
Boy, it would have been nice. I'm going to have to start paying more attention to the tennis. That's the problem. You don't know. It is a heck of a true gamble because there's no real solid. I thought either I was hoping Madison Keys or Coco Gauff, Americans would get there, but Keys was hurt, and then Gauff just didn't come through.
And we appreciate Sonny for taking the time. Appreciate him taking the time to come on with us and talk about everything with Wimbledon and tennis in general. We're going to take a time out, our second of the morning. No, I don't have another poolside adventures for you. Although maybe we might slide something in there as Ed is continuing to shake his head about. Listen, I've inspired a lot of people with these poolside adventures. They're loving them. They're loving them here on the program. Go ahead.
Not commenting. I'm not giving it any more just dues than what it has. And those people that like it, all I'm going to say is y'all need to jump in the pool with Hatfield, and then let's see how much you really like it.
Hey, the more the merrier, is what I say.
When you jump in, the pool water will be yellow. I'm just letting you all know that.
No, it won't be yellow. But although someone once did say if it's yellow, it's mellow. And if it's we won't say if it's you know who's watching, by the way? I got to shout him out. I see Mark Stuffel's watching the show on IG, or he was. I don't know if he still is. Also, shout out to him, former baseball coach at Nansemond River. Mike Hauser watching, our man from Cox. You can always interact with us, whether it is through IG, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. We always preach the comments. Super E is tuning in. Safe travels, coach. And no swimming. Oh, come on, E. We're gonna have to get out to the Pro-Am. Tomorrow's not gonna happen, but we're gonna get out there, Ed. We gotta make that happen.
It's gonna be a definite. It's gonna be a situation where we'll probably just say, hey, let's go to the games today and just show up. So we'll be out there, E. We'll be out there to see how things are going.
I'll scurry up all the loose change on Ed's floorboard for you guys as the donation, because Lord knows he's not gonna break those heavy dollar bills, those presidents, the Lincolns and the Washingtons and all them that you got up on your in your wallet there.
Yeah, I'm not going to give up the dead presidents. I can't do that. Hey, speaking of that, you jumped me this week when I said you didn't get me my Phil Steele book because you said I'm going to call Phil Steele and get a free one. Well, I'll have you know that I broke down. Not only did I get the Phil Steele book.
Oh, you bought it.
I picked up a couple other magazines. I bought it. A couple other magazines. Baseball Digest. There was a magazine about Mickey Mantle with some stuff in there that I just had to get because that was my boyhood hero.
Good for you.
I walk out of Barnes & Noble $100 less in my pocket.
Well, so two mistakes there. Actually, three mistakes. Number one, that you gave Barnes & Noble a free pop, but they don't sponsor the show, so shame on you. Number two, you didn't have a gift card with you, which is you got to do that. And number three, you did that. You didn't get any coffee or snacks or anything. Did you? Use all books?
As a matter of fact, I had a $2 off coupon that I won or was given, and I gave it to some older couple that were sitting there in the cafe area because I figured they'll use it more than me.
Look at you. The kind gestures of one Edward Vincent Young.
Hey, a couple of weeks ago, I donated $100,000 back to the Virginia Preps Classic for the next tournament. That's just the type of guy I am. If I have it, they'll have it.
$100,000. You did do that. That was very kind of you. We're going to take a timeout because it's long overdue. We've got more coming your way, including hearing from a couple of football coaches. That's on deck. It is 757 Saturday Sports Talk, and you're watching it all on Cova Sports TV. Now this from a couple more of the sponsors, including the Drip Bar and One Life Fitness.
Treat yourself to a visit to the Drip Bar, IV hydration and vitamin therapy in Virginia Beach. Boost your immunity, increase your energy, and promote anti-aging with our personalized treatments designed to ensure efficient nutrition absorption to rejuvenate your mind and body. Come see our chic and relaxing day spa for yourself today. We welcome walk-ins and appointments. Our medical professionals will help you achieve your best health and answer all your questions. The Drip Bar at Landstown Commons in Virginia Beach.
As a banker at Town Bank, we believe that people bank with people, not with banks. You're looking for an actual personal relationship, and that's what you get at our bank. You get that person that gets to know you, gets to know your business, is there for you. I think that is what motivates us, what drives us, and the idea that we are trying to serve others and enrich lives, I think is very true.
At CHKD, sports medicine is more than just treating injuries. It's a whole team approach to caring for young athletes. With experienced physicians, surgeons, trainers, and rehab specialists here when kids and teens need them most. Our experts help young athletes prevent injuries too, with advanced training and conditioning programs that keep them in the game safely. CHKD Sports Medicine, where kids are more than patients and we're more than a hospital.
I've learned that I can't choose how I feel, but I can choose what I do about it. Until next visit, this is Andy Rooney for Wondering Aloud on Poolside Adventures.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
All right, we're back here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. It's Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're on Facebook. We're on Apple, Spotify, VirginiaPreps.com, IG2, Hatfield Sports 2K4 is my IG, 757 Sports Talk on our X page. And we'll be talking about the new locations, the state football championships in Class 5 and Class 6 at none other than James Madison University. We'll get Ed's take on that a little bit later on in the show. But also the announcement of where the Class 3, Class 4, Class 2, and Class 1 title games are. But we've got some football clips that we caught up with some coaches over at the Landstown Team Camp, including Anthony Joffrion of Kings Fork, Alonzo Ricks of Ananzamon River, Daryl Cherry of Kempsville, Anthony Hawkins of Norcom, and Joe Jones of Grassfield. I think you have yourself muted, by the way, so when you do begin to speak, we won't hear a word you're saying unless you unmute you. But which one would you like to, or we can keep you muted, it doesn't matter to me. Which one would you like to hear first? Oh, you unmuted yourself. Nice job on the program. Who do you want to go to first?
Let's go Kempsville.
All right, Kempsville. That's Gerald Cherry, head coach of the Chiefs.
Let's go Coach Cherry.
All right. As Ed always says, I used to roam the halls there, and lunch was my favorite subject. What's it looking like for the 2024 Chiefs? They graduated some key guys like Deacon Rawls to JMU, Karan Boyd a couple seasons ago to Duke. Well, here's the outlook for Kempsville as we caught up with Coach Cherry on Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe. 757 Saturday Sports Talk.
All right, here with Kempsville head football coach Daryl Cherry as he's out here with his Chiefs competing for the 2024 season at the Landstown Team Camp. Right around the corner, coach will be kicking it off for game one. You guys take on the Salem Sun Devils. But what are you learning about the group as you graduated a number of seniors, but it's not rebuild, you reload now. You make the playoffs pretty much on an annual basis, and it's a pretty intriguing group for you.
Yes, we constantly working on getting better each day. We got a big game coming up for the first one against Salem High School, so it's going to be at our house. So we're just going to try to put up a good fight.
What are you wanting to learn out of something like this as you gear up for your scrimmages and then game one? What are the things that you try to take away from? And then as a staff, what do you guys go back and do as you prep for it?
Well, biggest thing is on both sides, especially for the kids, I want to see who's able to compete. Compete at a high level. See the ones that are aggressive up the front. Like we always got to work on our line play. Gets a chance to work on our line play. We got helmets to show the pads, get out a little bit, and also have those moments to teach. For us coaches, we also are, preparing ourselves for game mode. As far as making sure we're seeing the right things, getting the right calls, communicating across the field so our guys can get the plays.
I think that you came over to Kempsville from Tallwood. The mantra has been, if I'm not mistaken, up front, that the trench mob, those guys in the offensive line and defensive line that have been good. Jalen White was at Old Dominion. Deacon Rawls, who just graduated, next level, an all-area kid. And then up front this year, got a lot of nice-sized kids. Looks like Makai Bacon could be one of those leaders for you up front, right?
Yeah, Makai, he's going to be a 4-year starter for us on the offensive side of the ball. Started at center, now moving to guard a little bit. Going to play a little bit of defense. So he's going to anchor our guys up front. And we got a lot of guys that got to figure out, are they going to be players for us? So we're gonna put some work in. We got some guys that's working hard, like Drew. Drew Ashbury's gonna be a good name that y'all need to look out for. Real big kid. Going to his junior year. Play D-line for the first time. So I'm looking for big things out of him. And we got some young guys in the secondary that's gonna be proven. Jalen Batten, of course, he's a young guy, good speed. So we got some guys that's 2 more years. We got 2-year guys that are going to anchor us.
Yeah, we've watched. Have had some playmakers in the secondary the last couple of years, like Karan Boyd, who's done it, Duke, Raleigh McIntosh, and though there are some emerging names on all 3 levels: D-line, linebackers, defensive backfield. Daryl Ville's a kid out here, number 5, that caught my eye on the first day of this camp at linebacker, making some plays for you.
Oh yeah, he's a gift this year. He's going to be one of our anchors on our defense up front. We've turned a lot of guys on defense for us. Like I said, in our box play, linebacker play. But he's going to sit here and make some big plays for us. He did an excellent job for us. First year being with us, going in year 2. I'm expecting big things for him, and his recruiting starting to heat up a little bit.
2 more before you let you run. Appreciate the time. As it is with every football team at the high school, college, pro level, they want to know about the quarterback spot. You got a couple of kids there at the spot, one of which I know has experience. Tell us what it looks like there for you, QB.
It's been a battle. It's going to continue to be a battle. I haven't named one, but right now Josh Ollie has an opportunity going in year 3 in our program. He started at JV for the last 2 years. So right now he has grown a lot. Of course, being varsity and JV, different levels, but he's taking it in stride. Learning the system, learning what we expect of him. I just need him to be just Josh Holly and not worry about quarterbacks beforehand. Just be himself.
There you go. And lastly, for the Kempsville Chiefs to once again be in that playoff picture. Last year, that crazy thrilling win over Cox in the first round on a blocked field goal return, lost a heartbreaker to Indian River, where you had the lead with that great group that was led by Jordan Harris. What's it going to take for the Chiefs to be right there in November making some noise?
We just got to continue to play, get better each day. You know what I mean? Right now, what we're doing out here, it's no wins or losses right here in the record books right now. So our job is just get ready for our first game, which is Salem coming up, and then take it one game at a time, and we'll find out what happens in November.
Go check him out this year, Kempsville High School. It's Daryl Cherry. Thank you so much. All the best.
I appreciate it.
So that was Daryl Cherry with us. As you see the schedule scrolling across our ticker, Ed, for the Chiefs. They open up at home August 29th against Salem. That'll be followed up with a trip to Princess Anne. Then they play the following week at Bayside. If they can start out 3-0 before the bye week, that would be immense, because then at the end of September, they travel to Dahlia Drive to take on the Stallions of Green Run, who have been a thorn in their side, and just about everybody else is in the beach. Open up October with Landstown at home, travel to Ocean Lake 6 days later for a Thursday, October 10th game, host First Colonial, and then close out October with a trip to nearby rival Tallwood before 2 more regular season games in November with Kellum and Cox, both of which are at home. They figure to be back in the playoff mixture again in Region 5A. As Kempsville, you remember, it was not too long ago, they had the longest losing streak in the state. They're no longer the doormat, if you will, in the Beach District, or even in 757 high school football in general.
Yeah, I'm listening to Coach Cherry. Very generic in terms of where they should be right now. Just, they're at a summer camp to see what the kids are doing, getting ready for their first game, regular game, which will be Salem. That, to me, will be a toughie. Without really getting in deep into schedules and whatever, and I know the Kempsville faithful will not like this. I think Salem wins that in a close battle. I think they'll knock off PA. Bayside might be a little bit of toss-up. So, if they can get started, as you said, 3-0, at the worst 2-1, that can, project them into having even a better year as the things go on. Obviously, if you start off on the wrong foot, you can't make up losses. Those aren't gone. And it's sometimes tougher to get back from. But I think, Jerry's done a great job there. Once upon a time, they were a doormat. They were, 50-some losses in a row. That's not true anymore. That's a team that really capable of winning pretty much every time they step out on the field. So that in itself has been tremendous of him getting that program back up and running.
I'm showing 26-10 the last 3 years since the COVID shortened 2-2 campaign. They were 1-9 in his first year, but they had 5 straight 0-10 seasons prior to his arrival. And again, they snapped that losing streak, if you remember, 2019 memorably against Bayside. So there you have it. While we have a moment, and we can put it up on the screen here for all of you out there to see. I referenced it before. We did the interview with Coach Cherry, and now you can see it. My tweet yesterday that put the news out there, as it is now scrolling across are showing on our screen. The Virginia High School League State Football Championships are going to be held at the following locations on Saturday, December 14th. James Madison University will be the site for Class 6 and Class 5. The VHSL has announced. It was last year at UVA's Scott Stadium in Charlottesville. The 2 years before that, in 21 and 22, 2021, 2022, it was at Old Dominion University's SB Ballard Stadium, Cornblau Field in Norfolk. I've been on the call, fortunately, been blessed to be on the call for the last 3 state championships for the NFHS Network alongside Andy Hayes. And Ed, you see it there on the screen. JMU now getting to host. The last time James Madison hosted a state football championship, for those wondering, it was never Class 5 or Class 6 when they got to do it. It was the old single A days, the Group A, Division I, Division II days in 2006. So it's 18 years in the making for them, as they're now getting to host the state football championships coming up in 2024 to go with Liberty returning as the Class 3, Class 4 site. It's been their customary location at Arthur Williams Stadium in Lynchburg and Salem Stadium in Salem for the Class 1 and Class 2 title games. But your reaction to James Madison being the site a little bit further for teams from the 757, say like a Maury or someone else like a Green Run, a Warwick, a Kings Fork, a fill in the blank was to make it in Class 5 and in Class 6. We've seen Oscar Smith from our area make it recently, but your reaction, go ahead.
I really didn't hear anything there. I don't know if you can hear me, but you were breaking up tremendously.
I've got you. It must have been your phone.
My reaction to the sites, I'm disappointed because it's out of our area, and you know, fair is fair. I mean, we like it when events are near us, so we don't have to travel as much, and it's a little bit of a advantage for our local teams. Well, now we're going to feel what everybody else has been feeling. How we got to go travel, and you know, people in the Harrisonburg area will have advantages, or so to speak, or Lynchburg. It's I guess if you don't put the right type of bid up or don't bid at all, you don't get it. So it didn't happen in our area, and now we got to travel for, what is that, a 3-year period, 4-year period?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, you mean we lost video. Ed Young is checked out, ladies and gents. Hey, you see it? He's gone. Here today, gone tomorrow with Coach Young. So we'll see if we can get Coach Young back here on the program. But yeah, it's a bidding process essentially is how it goes for the state football championships. And James Madison ended up coming up with there in Harrisonburg the best deal for the Virginia High School League to host its title games. So that's why it's there. And I do hear what Ed's feeling is. A lot of people in the 757 feel that way. But if you are in the 540 or the 804 or another area code, you probably feel differently. We'll see how it works, though. I think it's a neat change in location. My father's old stomping grounds, class of 77. We got Ed Young back as his phone died. And matter of fact, as we say that, Jack Lowe chimes in and says, just waiting for an all-time moment in history of the show where Ed gets pulled over. Well, he might have gotten pulled over. We don't know yet. Well, that'll happen at some point.
No, I'm not. No, didn't get pulled over. It just went through a tough area. But that would make for some great theater if I get pulled over by the police because I'm using my phone while driving, and I'm a driver's ed teacher. Lord, I hope none of my students are listening.
No, I was waiting while I was in the pool. I was waiting because of you, and I wish I had the photo because the fence got locked. I was waiting for someone to have the cops say while I was in the pool, or have somebody yell, "Hey, get out of my pool, kid!" and be like you to scare the putty out of me while looking at those videos. I was waiting for that to happen because I know you were scheming to try to mess with me because you do that a lot. You try to mess with me and cause havoc with my life. So
no, I'm just trying to protect the young. And
no protecting. You try to intimidate.
No. You in the pool is just not good. But getting back to the more serious matter of the playoffs, I don't know if I came through when I was saying it, that, you know, I hate seeing it leave the area. But again, it goes, if I'm not mistaken, correct me on the process, it goes to a bid.
Yes.
Whoever does the best on the bid is going to get it. Mm-hmm. And is it a 2-year, 4-year deal? How is it?
I think I haven't seen or heard the terms of what their deal is, nor am I privy to that, nor does it matter. I just know it can be year to year, essentially. Like the UVA people thought when they got it last year that it was going to be for the next 2, 3, 4, 5. There's no guarantee. So I have not been given the details. And I do know it has been posted on the Virginia High School League's website. that's the location. Now, in addition to that, while we have a moment, because I've been asked by a number of coaches, what's the state semifinal rotation? Because there was a lot of talk of them cross-bracketing because we've had A and B, specifically for Class 5, play each other. So whoever comes out of A, which has been Indian River and Green Run the last couple of years, who's ever come out of B, which has been Maury for a number of years now, but Warwick, Kings Fork, Nansemond River, Granby, among others, trying to break through in that region. They have to see each other in state semis, not state finals. So will that change? But it looks like as of right now, it shows A is going to play B again, C plays D. But I do know they're cross-bracketing against a rotation. That could change because if you recall last year, a few weeks into the season, it was supposed to be A versus B, C versus D. And oddly enough, Region A champion Highland Springs, who beat Manchester to win that region, and Region B champion Freedom of Woodbridge, who I think beat Battlefield, if I remember right, they ended up playing each other in the state finals because they cross-bracketed to where the Region A champ Highland Springs took on the Region C champ Lake Braddock, and the Region B champ Freedom of Woodbridge beat the Region D champ James Madison High School out there of Northern Virginia, who had lost the previous 2 state championships to Oscar Smith and Freedom. So we'll see if they have a committee get together and vote, change that. It remains to be seen, to be determined. So who I think are the better teams in 5 C and D, 6 C and D. Well, you got to wait to see our top 10 countdowns on VirginiaPreps.com in August. I'm not going to give that all away to you now here on this 13th day of July on a Saturday where Ed Young is gearing up to yell not so pleasant words at Orioles players that once played for the Tides. I'm going to make you have to wait. Can't give it to you all now. It's like a little appetizer.
Yeah, and we're still efforting a sponsor for Virginia Preps / Matt Hatfield's top 10. We need somebody to step.
The top 10 sponsored it? You want the top 10 sponsored? Okay. I would be cool with that. We have never had the top 10 sponsored.
That's what we need. We need a sponsor for that, people. It's not that expensive. We'll blast your name all over the place. You know how we do. And just get out there and do that. And I will be blasting Matt on his picks. Most of them are good, but he'll miss up a team or two, and I'll get them in there. And then come playoff time, I will usually shine, even though he beat me in last year's playoff. But I'll take care of that this year.
Okay. Well, we've got a cross-check. I don't have it in front of me. By the way, I hate to break it to you, Krejcikova has defeated Paolini here in the Wimbledon third set on the women's final. As you shake your head, people can't see because your screen's breaking out time, but she has won. Krejcikova, the number 31 seed at 100-1, is the women's Wimbledon champ. Good for her. I think it's terrific. I know you were rooting for the Italian Paolini to get it done, but did not go your way. But yeah, we'll have to do some other segments on this show, like naming top players by positions, do our top 10s for the areas, do maybe, and you know what? This would be good for Ed Young, because if I do it, they'll get mad at me. I'll let them get mad at you. Maybe Ed Young can rank his top 10 high school football coaches, be it in the area or state, and go through it with a fine-tooth comb as to why Coach A is number 1 and Coach B is number 2 and Coach C is number 9. You don't want you to rank the worst coach. We just do the best. We're not going to rank the worst. That's not kind. You don't want that. Nobody cares about the worst anyway. We care about the best. So
yeah, that would be fine with me. I don't mind controversy. I usually thrive in it, so it doesn't matter to me. I've been rated low in my career all over the place. Doesn't matter to me. It matters what we do on the court at the end of the year, not what talking heads say. So yeah, I'd like to have some fun with it. That's not an issue or a problem. But getting back to that tennis, can you imagine she's 101? If you put down a few shekels and even dug a little deeper, wow, you'd have a nice week coming up.
Yeah, you'd be smelling like a rose. You wouldn't have to hope for baseball teams to keep it together so that you ended up avoiding the sweat and bullets there. You'd be all right. You'd be in good shape.
Like I said, I don't know about smelling like a rose, but I know one thing. If it'd be me, I'd be planning a nice long trip.
Well, let me ask you this question, not to get knee deep into how you into the handicapping field of things, because I don't know if it's going to upset people. I don't care if it upsets people, but are you a believer in hedging? And what I mean by hedging, if you had a ticket at 100-1 and it's her against Paolini, before the match, do you take half of that and put it on Paolini to make sure you guarantee yourself a profit? Are you a believer in hedging your stuff, or do you say, nah, I'm going for the gusto? Because I'm a believer in I'm value and profit. You, on the other hand, you like to live dangerously on the edge, which you might be doing today. What's your feeling on it? Do you just say, no, I'm going for the full shebang, or what's your belief in that? I've never asked you this. I'm curious to get your response.
To preface this, I am not a big bettor. Everybody who knows me, I'm cheap. I don't put money down if I don't. I bet $1 here or there, 10 cents, 50 cents, because I don't really have it like that. But if I'm going to put down big money, and I have a few friends that put down some big money, no names I can't give out there, I would tell them, yes, you hedge it, protect yourself, because you're putting down thousands. If you're putting down
No. You don't have to. No. Time out. You don't have to put down thousands. Let's say, Ed Young, you had a ticket at $5. Let's say it's 100, whatever the odds are, long shot odds on Krejcikova to win the women's Wimbledon, and it's going to pay you $500 to $5,000. So you could halfway it at $2,500 or $250 on Paolini or whatever it is. It doesn't have to be this man, just hypothetical. Would you do that before the match? You could do it in play, or in sometimes you can't hedge, but would you do that if it's your shoes? It sounds like you would, based on what you're telling me. If you, again, understanding that you don't have the funds, but you're going to play the woe is me Eeyore card, the poor man card, but you would do that is what I'm gathering. Not speak for you. You're breaking up again.
Big money on it, I would split it. If I'm doing smaller, no, I'm going to let it ride. I'm going to go for that at 100 to 1 odds. I'm going to roll.
You're that guy. You let it ride.
That's part of gambling that has happened. The problem is, too many people let that allure take over, and now they're calling 800 numbers for help, which aren't a whole lot of help that I've been told.
Well, listen, there wasn't that. I don't know if you know it. The Circa Sports Million contest. It was a couple years ago. There was a guy. It was a guy and his buddies, and I think they got beat on the Steelers Raiders. They could have won like $7 or $8 million, and they didn't want to hedge. They just needed one more win, they would have won. To me, when you have that generational type of wealth fortune free at your stake, and you got to hedge at that point. You're crazy if you don't hedge. So at least, even if you don't hedge halfway, if you hedge a percentage, it just makes sense to give you dollars and cents. I mean, come on, you got to hedge at that point. So, at least to me,
I'm not a betting. I'm not a bettor. I'm not a betting expert. But from what I read and hear, there's a way you can make some money as a bettor, a handicap or whatever. But the problem is, too many people don't really put the time and effort. They just throw money down, think they got something going, and then all of a sudden it hits, and they're like, wow, okay, I got this thing figured out. Figured what out? And now they're throwing all kind of money to the point pretty soon now they can't feed the kids, can't pay the bills, and lose this, lose that. Then they wonder, where's that 800 number? Yeah. You got to know what you're doing, and you got to know. Kenny Rogers said it: know when to hold, know when to fold. So you got to walk away, know when to run. There you go. Absolutely. So it's not a worry to me, because when I elect to throw my money away, and that's what gambling is, whether you do it on games or whatever, slot machines, I don't have much of it to do. And being brought up the way I was, and being a teacher where we always gave money back to our employers because we never got raises, you got to learn how to handle your money. There's just ways you can do that without getting crazy, but some people do. Sure. So you got to be careful with that. We'll have to have one of these betting experts come on.
We'll get our man Bennett Conlon on. He used to write about UVA. He does it for a living now for a website. We'll get him on to talk about it some, because my last thought before we go to break here, and we got some more high school football coaching clips coming your way here in some moment here on Cova Sports TV at 757 Saturday Sports Talk, is as a former head basketball coach at the high school level for 30 plus years, and you coach college ball. Don't you agree that it's a concern, not so much with the pros, because so many of them are making money, and you have those isolated incidents right now. It could mushroom and this become a bigger problem where, you have guys like John Tate Porter with the Nuggets. But Don't you agree that it was smart for them to get rid of player props for college athletes? Because not every college athlete, not everybody's the quarterback at LSU or the flashy pass rushing defensive end at Alabama, or the guy that's making $800,000 or $1.2 million, the point guard at Baylor that came from Duke, Jeremy Roach. You're not that guy that's making that kind of money. That you could have a lot of fixes with player props that could impact the outcome nefarious activity taking place with some of these games. It was probably a good thing. And I think it's a bigger concern for college sports, be it college basketball, college football. Shoot, we had dinner on the radio a couple of years ago about that huge college baseball scandal. I forget, it was 2 SEC schools. I think it was Alabama and Tennessee, or I forget the 2 SEC schools. So you do worry that those things can happen even more so with a lot of college athletes and teams, but probably good to keep those player props, because it feels like the player props and the parlays are the most popular items that these companies, whether it's your DraftKings, your FanDuel, your fill in the blank, whoever, that are really targeting everybody that's watching these sports. It's everywhere you look, a commercial, be it on television, internet ads, social media ads, radio, you name it. I think the props with college athletes was the big worry, and some states still haven't legalized it, whether you agree or disagree with that.
Yeah, I think when we're betting college sports, amateur sports, if we can still call them amateur, it could be a little dicey in terms of people who fix things. Mm-hmm. Jimmy the Fixer and his brother Johnny the Fixer. They can hold
Jimmy and Johnny the Fixers?
Yeah. The Fixer brothers, yeah.
Fixer brothers, okay.
It could be a problem because not all college athletes, and it's funny to make this next statement, are making the big money that some of the SEC type guys are. Years ago we wouldn't even be saying about making money, but there isn't. But they could.
But NIL they are. Yeah, I mean, listen, someone brought the point last week that with Miami, take Mario Cristobal, the Hurricanes, and NIL at Miami with both the men's basketball with our guy Jim Larinaga down there as the coach and the football program. They have defensive linemen making $800,000 plus. Like, so if you're the backup to him, or you're the teammate on that defensive line next to him, you do worry about some. And this as a coach, is there going to be some jealousy? Is there going to be team camaraderie and chemistry? And some guys they worried about this with Alabama when the quarterback was the first NIL deal, the Texas quarterback, this quarterback. They worry about it still to this day about team harmony and that type of thing, because I think even more so with basketball than, say, football or baseball, that chemistry, that element matters. You can try to assemble an all-star team, but it doesn't always turn into, championships.
Right. It's the betting thing could be major issues, even at the high school level. Even at the high school level, which people don't even think of, it could be.
How would you think it's an issue in high school?
There are people that bet on high school sports, and I could see somebody telling a hotshot high school kid, "Hey, look, I'm betting for you guys to win by 20 or whatever. So I need you not to go crazy scoring. I'm not asking you to lose. I'm not asking you to throw the game, but don't take as many shots you normally do, and there'll be $500 in it for you." Well, $500 to what? Just basically do what I do. Just maybe not shoot as many shots or whatever. Okay. It can easily be done.
So let me ask this question, though it's not been reported widespread. There are isolated instances, what you're talking about. Do you feel with more the commercialization of this with college sports and pro sports that this is going to trickle down to the prep and grassroots level and high school sports to where this is going to be now commonplace, and that we could I even shudder to even make the statement that we could get to a point where someone almost tries to make it legalized at that level?
I don't think it'll ever grow legs to be legalized in the States. The courts is not going to let it. I don't see that.
For amateur sport, right.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see it. But would it creep down in illegally? Absolutely, because anything involving money, betting, a chance to win, yes, because there'll be enough people who will want to do it.
Have you ever been, I don't want to, maybe I'm going to, well, you're not coaching right now, so I got to live with this. Have you ever been directly involved where something you found out where there was, that it had taken place in your coaching career?
On the high school level, I have known of people betting in the stands, as crazy as the next play, a dollar bet, team A don't score. And
in a game that you were coaching in.
Yes. People in the stands, absolutely. And it blew my mind when I found out later, because I started worrying about, have they got to my players? What's going, but it was never that level. People making real ridiculous stuff like a.
You're going through a patchy area where you're breaking up. Let's reset you for a second. Hold on. We're reset you. You're going through a patchy area. You're breaking up.
Going great. Keep it going. And I'm winning big money. And I said, hey, I really don't want to hear that kind of mess. I don't want anything associated with my team or players involved with the word bet. And it wasn't. And they said, no, we're not talking to your players. We're not getting your players to do this. It's just, I forget how they called it. It was some type of bet where, they bet your team's going to miss the shot and we're going to get the rebound. And I'm like, I really don't want.
No, it's basically what you have now.
A big issue.
Yeah. Oh, we lost you again. Ed Young was checking out. So we'll he was telling the story about, he knows that it had happened before in a game that he coached in at the high school level, but it would be essentially what he would talk about, like a player or prop wager. I know people wanted to hear the end of that as he cut out with his phone connection. So we do apologize. We'll get him fired back up here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk on Cova Sports TV. We will take a timeout and come back with more, including a couple more coaching football clips. We heard from Daryl Cherry of the Kempsville Chiefs. You'll also hopefully hear from, if not today, you'll hear from him next week or the weeks to come, Anthony Hawkins of Norcom, Anthony Joffrion of Kings Fork, Alonzo Ricks from Nansman River, and Joe Jones from Grassfield. Right now, though, we're going to take a timeout and try to reconnect with Ed Young, who was going through a patchy area. And we will be hearing from some of the sponsors that make it possible for us to stream with you each and every week, including Vault Athletics and Fitness.
Treat yourself to a visit to the Drip Bar, IV hydration and vitamin therapy in Virginia Beach. Boost your immunity, increase your energy, and promote anti-aging with our personalized treatments designed to ensure efficient nutrition absorption to rejuvenate your mind and body. Come see our chic and relaxing day spa for yourself today. We welcome walk-ins and appointments. Our medical professionals will help you achieve your best health and answer all your questions. The Drip Bar at Landstown Commons in Virginia Beach.
Get ready for a season of thrills and excitement. Virginia Beach United invites you to experience the adrenaline of USL League 2 Pro Soccer. Tickets are only $10 for adults, $7 for kids, and children 5 and under are free. It's the perfect family outing filled with fun and entertainment. Secure your seats now for a season of unforgettable soccer moments with Virginia Beach United. Don't miss out.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
Pain and Gain, your one-stop shop for all things field hockey. Located in Princess One Shopping Center, Virginia Beach, we carry everything you need on the turf, from black sticks, turf shoes, mouth guards, and much more. Try out your stick before you buy it in our synthetic turf area. Pain and Gain. Embrace the pain, enjoy the game.
Get ready for a season of thrills and excitement. Virginia Beach United invites you to experience the adrenaline of USL League 2 Pro Soccer. Tickets are only $10 for adults, $7 for kids, and children 5 and under are free. It's the perfect family outing filled with fun and entertainment. Secure your seats now for a season of unforgettable soccer moments with Virginia Beach United. Don't miss out.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
Welcome you back to 757 Saturday Sports Talk as we're closing in on the finish of today's program, taking you up till about 12 noon Eastern on this 13th day of July. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're on Apple, Spotify, VirginiaPreps.com, Facebook, and IG as well. We've got some more clips for you, and we spoke with the young man out in Richmond out of the Richmond area from Steward School. He's committed to play his college hoops for the University of Richmond Spiders. We're talking about Donovan Richardson. He was one of the standouts at the VISAA live event up there in Alexandria. And we're going to actually now hear from Donovan Richardson right now before we reconnect with Coach Young. He'll also finish up his story, the gambling, the nefarious activity story. We come back here as well. But right now, let's hear from Donovan Richardson, now playing with Virginia Elite and the Steward School, a Richmond Spiders commit here on Cova Sports TV.
All right, here is Steward School class of 2025 guard Donovan Richardson. He's playing with his team at the VISAA live period shootout going on in Alexandria City and just made his commitment recently to the Richmond Spiders, which we'll talk about. But Donovan, how's the event going for this weekend and the offseason in general? Got some good bump with your team and get some quality competition from some college coaches this weekend.
Yes, sir. The offseason has been amazing. Obviously, the commitment being the highlight of my offseason. And it feels good to be committed to Richmond, hometown kid. And Steward-wise, we're just getting started as a group. We have about 7 people that came up here for the live period, so it was great conditioning. We played some great teams. Yesterday we got 2 good wins. Today we had 2 losses, but we're learning from it all. And I'm looking to be a leader this year, take a role as a primary scorer, and it's just been great overall.
Before we get to your commitment to Richmond, we've mentioned that you've gone through some changes. You went from collegiate school to Steward. You started out with Team Richmond, then Team Load, and now Virginia Elite and AAU. How have you adapted to all the changes? Because we've all gone through in life from COVID a few years ago to now. How have you gone and adjusted to the differences in going from school to school and things like that?
Well, the adjustment, I feel like at the end of the day, it's basketball. At the end of the day, you got to put the ball in the rim. You got to facilitate. And I feel like I have a game where I can adapt to different systems. And I've just been learning from guys all the way back from when I was playing with Team Richmond to Team Loaded with guys like Cole Langdon, Jackson Keith, Troy Henderson. And then with Virginia Elite, guys like Cam Pacheco, Miles Franklin, Jordan Scott, all great teammates, Division I players, and just taking aspects of their game, putting it into mine, and then just learning how to play alongside high-level players. It's been amazing.
You've been able to be a shot maker, I think, at all 3 levels, watching you when you were a sophomore and shown you've got, multifaceted abilities on the court. Is the difference in your game now the maturity? And was that also, going into that, part of why you picked Richmond? You could have gone outside the state, gone to different areas, but you wanted to be the hometown kid and play for a mature program like Coach Mooney has with the Spiders?
Yes, sir. I mean, Coach Mooney and his program, Coach Mooney's been there a while, and I think there's a lot of stability within that program. I love the staff, Coach Boyden, Coach Thomas, great guys, all have personal relationships with me now, and I feel like the way they play really meshes with my game. They pride themselves on having versatile guys, and then I'd say I'm able to play 1 through 4 when needed be, and I'm a shot maker. I can facilitate, I can rebound. Being a 6'6" guard, I feel like I can do it all. So it just felt like the right fit, and I felt there was no need to wait.
Just a couple years ago, they made the NCAA tournament and advanced in the tournament, and you're one of 2 commitments already in this class. What are you hoping to bring to this squad, and what's their vision for you as far as when you step right foot day one with them?
Well, their vision for me to be more of like I compare my game to Jai Bailey, who recently transferred from Richmond.
Okay.
Just being on the wing, being able to create shots, being able to come off dribble handoffs, go back door. I'm willing to do whatever the team needs. And then, Richmond has the way they play, that's what really sold me. And they feel like I will be able to thrive early on.
Mm-hmm. Lastly, for this coming year, I'm sure you have some goals in mind, some things you want to accomplish before you head off to the Spiders, not going far from home for college, but give me kind of your outlook for this coming year and what you want to do as far as leaving a legacy as a Virginia high school basketball player.
I want to be Visa Division II Player of the Year. That's my goal. And
how do you do that?
I produce.
Okay.
I mean, I want to be one of the leading scorers in the state, 20 plus points per game. I want to be an assist leader. Also, I want to get my rebounds up. I feel like that's a part of my game. I've been working on my defensive rebounding, and I feel like that's possible. We have to win. First of all, we have to win. And a state championship has always been my dream since being a kid, and I feel like we can do it with the group of guys we have right now.
The Spiders commit going for some hardwood with Steward School, Donovan Richardson, class of 2025. Thank you so much. All the best.
Thank you.
All right, we're back here with Coach Young now here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk on Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube page. We thank Donovan Richardson for his comments there. Interviewed him in late June. Ed, your quick reaction to that, and then we'll get back to your story about the high school, I guess you could say, not betting scandal, but sports games and what have you when you had heard about activity taken on. But Donovan Richardson going to Richmond University to play, or University of Richmond to play his college hoops. I think it's a pretty solid fit. Another good get for Chris Mooney, as they've gotten quietly a lot of good in-state talent in recent years as he just adds to that. He's got a really smooth game, and you could hear from his comments, a really mature individual.
Yeah, Chris Mooney at Richmond has done a really good job. Been there while stability, which the youngster talked about, which is one of the things that drew him there. Coach not looking to make bigger money elsewhere, whatever. He's been there a while now. He always does a good job. Those kids are well prepared. Gets a lot of high basketball IQ type kids, and he's getting another one who also can do some things other than just be a smart player. He can do some things with that basketball, and the kid really has a good grip on what he's good at and where he can shine. He also wants to improve. He knows he needs to improve, and he's going to try to work on that. So the kid seems to be very aware of his game. Now, a lot of kids think they're better than what they really are until somebody brings them back down to earth, usually the coach or their opponents that they play. But this kid Donovan does seem to be pretty up on what he's good at, what he can do, and the fact that he can get even better at Richmond at the same time help them move on. I think is tremendous kid, and I always feel good about kids that talk intelligently about their overall game. And he talked a lot about the team got to win. The team wants to do whatever it takes to help the team win. So that stuff was good, really, really good to hear. Wish him well. And you're right, Richmond getting some quality kids.
Yeah, combo guard who's got a 4.89 GPA, and he's blossomed up to about 6'5.5", 6'6" now. He's tall guard. He's got some good size to him to hit the jump shot, mid-range, and from distance. So good to see him, and he's got a senior season coming up against a lot of teams that we'll see from the 757 and at TCIS. They'll take on the Cape Henrys, the Catholics of the world, and so many others. A lot of good, talented private school players I got a chance to watch last month, as well as the public school players with over 60-plus teams at the one that took place at the St. James complex 10 minutes down the road from that one that was going on in Alexandria City, St. James there in Springfield. Let's get back to what you were talking about before you were breaking up, though. You said you had heard of you were in you'd heard people in the stands, basically like I would say a player prop or a play, an at-bat in baseball. You had heard of that. That had to alarm you a great deal, did it not?
Yeah, it concerned me because it's betting. And though it's not a big deal to played off, I actually sometimes when I would go scouting games and be sitting up in the stands, I would see some guys next to me or kids that were swapping dollar bills on a play. And I kind of laugh, but at the same time, I'm like, that just makes me cringe a little, because could it grow into something much more serious that would become an issue? And I've not seen anything past that stage, and I haven't seen it in a while. But it's just the fact that I'm not big on betting, period, especially when it involves amateur play. Pro's a little different. But who's to say on prop bets with pros that some of the bookies or the underworld doesn't get hold of an athlete, let's say a less prominent athlete, doesn't make the big money, even though most all of them making great money, and wants to steer them a certain way. You don't know. And I just like to think, and the purist in me likes to think that will not happen. Players would turn a deaf ear, a blind eye to all that kind of mess, or those type of people won't approach players of that nature to try to get them to throw, fix, do something that's not conducive for a certain outcome. So I would hope not, but you never know.
All right, we'll take a break here in just a second. Speaking of betting odds, have you looked at? I haven't taken a look at it, so maybe I should right now. Maybe we should make a pick on the home run derby coming up on Monday night in Major League Baseball. You have the All-Star game, of course, where I see it's pretty much like even money favorites. The National League and American League, it's a total toss-up, as it generally is. Have you looked at the home run derby odds whatsoever?
You know, I'm leaning towards now. If I'm not mistaken, they changed some of the rules this year, which supposedly is going to make it better.
Yeah,
the one I'm looking at, he's really had a great year. Gunnar Henderson for the Orioles, who's not, to me, was not a home run hitter, but he's a threat every time up. That could he be the one? And then Peter Alonso sticks out in my brain for some reason as the guy to hype up as the winner. So I'm going to say Gunnar Henderson with Alonso as the long choice.
Well, it's right there on your screen, Ed. You can take a look at it. There's your favorites.
I can't watch the screen. I got to watch the road.
That's right. I know. You don't want to crash. That's a good point. I'll read it to you since you can't watch the screen. And for those listening on Apple and Spotify, Pete Alonso's plus 300, Marcelo Zuna's plus 380. That was smart of him. He didn't look at the screen and run into the forest. Adolis Garcia of Texas is plus 450. What was that?
I can't afford to get pulled over and tell the officer, I'm doing a show. I had to see who has the home run odds. Okay, so don't worry about giving me a ticket. I don't want to be. You would love to see me in the back of a cruiser with my handcuffs. You would go ballistic on it.
I wouldn't go ballistic on it. No, I wouldn't. But maybe I tried to set you up on that one. Garcia's plus 450. Bobby Witt's plus 470. I'm going to go with Ozuna from the Braves. That's what I'm going with. Teoscar Hernandez is plus 1,000, and Gunner's plus 470 with Bobby Witt. So they're both Witt and Gunner are tied for fourth favorite on that list. There you go.
Not a bad pick. Not a bad. So Alfonso is the clubhouse leader. So
Alonso, no, not Edgardo Alfonso, who once played for the Mets. Pete Polar Bear Alonso is the favorite.
Petey Alonso, yeah. Let's let Petey Alonso.
There you go.
That's my second choice. I'm gonna stick with Gunner.
Pete has won this event before multiple times. So, and the Mets at 48-45 hosting the Rockies today in baseball. So there you have it. That's your home run odds. We'll come back with one more coaching clip. We'll let Ed choose it. We'll save another 3 for the weeks to follow. We're hoping to get one of the new first-year head coaches from the Peninsula District on the show next week as well. Plus, you'll hear from Phil Steele. So we got a lot in store for you coming up on the 20th day of July. I haven't asked you this. How is the weather up that way? Because we got some clouds in the area. It doesn't look like it's going to be a pool day for me, which I'm very disappointed about.
Well, I'm glad about that. We need to keep you out of the pool as much as possible for the sake of sanity of others. Cloudy, off and on rain here and there. Still a little bit on the muggy side. Not too bad out. Not too bad.
Okay. One more time out here as we go ahead.
I was going to say, there's no rain in the forecast for Baltimore today. At least game time and all that.
Yeah. All right. Good to know. As I continue to get text messages about the whole Hayfield football thing too, which I'm sure we'll be talking about as we get closer and closer to August too. We're going to take a time out right here, our last one of today's show, and come back with another coaching clip right here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel through Cova Sports TV. Right now, though, we're going to hear from CHKD and more right here on Cova Sports TV.
Get ready for a season of thrills and excitement. Virginia Beach United invites you to experience the adrenaline of USL League 2 Pro Soccer. Tickets are only $10 for adults, $7 for kids, and children 5 and under are free. It's the perfect family outing filled with fun and entertainment. Secure your seats now for a season of unforgettable soccer moments with Virginia Beach United. Don't miss out.
At CHKD, sports medicine is more than just treating injuries. It's a whole team approach to caring for young athletes. With experienced physicians, surgeons, trainers, and rehab specialists here when kids and teens need them most. Our experts help young athletes prevent injuries too, with advanced training and conditioning programs that keep them in the game safely. CHKD Sports Medicine, where kids are more than patients and we're more than a hospital.
As a banker at Town Bank, we believe that people bank with people, not with banks. You're looking for an actual personal relationship, and that's what you get at our bank. You get that person that gets to know you, gets to know your business, is there for you. I think that is what motivates us, what drives us, and the idea that we are trying to serve others and enrich lives, I think is very true.
And now back to Matthew Hatfield and that evil basketball coach. Blast you, Ed Young!
And it is me, Matt Hatfield, with that evil basketball coach, Ed Young. You know, I had someone this week want to know how we got Seth MacFarlane to do that, by the way. And we can divulge that was not really Seth MacFarlane, but instead a very good impersonator of Seth MacFarlane's character, Stewie Griffin on Family Guy. So there you have it. We put that out there. And you're muted, Ed. You have to unmute yourself because we're back from break now. There you go.
I was hoping to mute you, but then again,
doesn't work.
Doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't work that way. We have one more coaching clip and then our final few minutes to close out the show today. So we heard from Daryl Cherry of the Kempsville Chiefs, which leaves us with 4 more. We're going to get some more, we hope, next week, provided weather cooperates and we get out there to catch up with maybe Landstown's Robert Jackson or Chris Scott of Oscar Smith or Dontrell Leonard of Churchland or Mark Hall of Salem. But which of the 4 do you want to hear from now between Alonzo Ricks, Joe Jones, Anthony Jofrion, or Anthony Hawkins, Norcom, Grassfield, Nance, whatever, Kings Fork? Where do you want to go?
You know what? Let's give Grassfield, Coach Jones, a shot.
All right. Grassfield's Joe Jones. The Grizzlies looking forward to this season, hoping they can turn the corner. And we caught up with him this week at the Landstown Team Camp in Virginia Beach. Here's what he told us on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. It's Cova Sports TV.
All right, here with Grassfield head football coach Joe Jones, entering his 3rd season at the helm of the Grizzlies as they're competing in the Landstown Team Camp this week. Here in July, it's hot, humid, and coach, it's almost that time for football. What are you thinking about this group as you get ready for year 3, which is often a time where you have your blueprint, your imprint on a group, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I think we're entering a phase of the program where we're excited about where we're headed. We have guys, and I like to say we're speaking the same language. We're speaking in shorthand, opposed to having to explain things fully, and that's what's helping us kind of take the next step.
I don't know how many 2- and 3-year starters you had when you got to Grassfield, but now you see more familiar faces. I know one of them in the secondary that you told us about at the Patrick Jones camp you had back in June. That's Roderick Sloan in the secondary. Tell us what makes him such a unique player for you.
Absolutely. Roderick, if you look at his size, man, he might get overlooked, but he's the biggest heart on the field. Offensively, defensively, special teams, the kid is electric. Anytime he touches the ball, and on defense, he has great coverage skills. He's not afraid to come down and stick his nose in there. So we're really excited about what he's going to do entering his senior year.
Young quarterback on the rise, Landon Curls. Believe he's going to be a sophomore. Is it? Yep. What do you see out of him?
Curls is the man. He has a live arm. He sees the field well. He's taking He's taking command of the offense, and he's making it his own. So we're starting to see a lot of growth and maturity out of him. So, yeah, we're definitely excited to see what Landon's going to be doing.
When you have these scrimmages, if you will, and I know it's not full-blown live tackle here before August comes, and you get your real scrimmages and then game one, what are you hoping to accomplish, and what are the points of emphasis with your guys?
Definitely want to see how, everything we've been doing in the offseason, how it comes together. We get out and we get to bang around a little bit in pads a little early, kind of see guys who are ready, guys who may not be ready. And it's all, we're just trying to, again, as a program, just take the next step. So I really enjoy this. The kids enjoy it. Tempers flare and it's hot, and things start to go. But I think we're getting good work out here.
Hey, you got to give her that energy some way. A few more for let you run. I know in addition to Curls and Sling, some other guys to watch out for, including a running back. Tell us some more guys to keep an eye on for this year for you.
Yeah, Willie Willie Moore, right? Yeah, yep. Willie Moore. He's tough, man. He gets behind his pads and he can go. He's a kid that got a 3.9 GPA. His future is bright in whatever he decides to do. We have a kid outside, Aiden Newman, at one of our receiver spots. Sam Blunt, who will be playing on the offensive line and defensive line for us. So, and these are all guys who've been in the program since I got here. So again, like I said, we're all now speaking the same language, and it's turning out well.
I know your region is nor is the Southeastern District whatsoever an easy situation, because you have teams that have won state championships, the Highland Springs of the world, the Thomas Dales, the Manchesters, the Oscar Smiths. What's it going to take? What are going to be the key points for Grassfield to be a team come November playoff time can make some noise?
Man, I think right now it's just day by day for us. Right, we're still learning each other. We're still learning ourselves. But if we keep every day just chip away every day, when it's time for it to come together, we'll be right where we put ourselves.
And lastly, what are you most excited about for this year with this team?
Man, like I said, just taking the next step with these guys, man. We're no longer taking a back seat. These kids have all have varsity experience. These kids have all been through it. They've taken their lumps. They've won some games, they've lost some games, and now it's really time for us to put it all together and really get to where we know we can be.
Coach Jones and the Grizzlies ready to make a splash. Thank you so much. All the best.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So that was Joe Jones of the Grassfield Grizzlies gearing up for his latest season at the helm. Year 3, August 30th, they take on the Warwick Raiders, who had a splash of a year in the Peninsula District. The only loss was to Phoebus in the regular season, an eventual 3-time state champ, and Maury in the playoffs in the regional final in Region 5B. And after they take on Warwick, they then go to Woodside, host Deep Creek, at Oscar Smith. Then they go to Great Bridge, host Kings Fork, at Hickory versus Nansemond River, then it's versus Western Branch, and at Indian River to close out the regular season slate in the month of November. See if they can make the playoffs, which is always the goal for everyone. But this is a young team on the rise. They really took their lumps early, and now they want to get back to a point where, we talked about it a little bit last month, Ed, when we had Patrick Jones on from his camp there. They've had guys like Patrick Jones, Grant Holloway, who, by the way, how about him? Kudos to him. We dropped the ball, more so me than even you. How about a couple of weeks ago, what Grant Holloway did? Did you see what Grant Holloway did 2 weeks ago?
If I'm not mistaken, he won some big event.
10 Myrtles at Monaco, and he continues to set records, open eyes, just Olympian. He is as good as it gets, and now he's trying to get the gold in Paris. And this is one of the best athletes we've had come out of the 757, and I know he's referenced at the big dance, but he had a silver medal in the Tokyo Olympics, but he's a 3-time world champion in the 110 meters hurdles and U.S. Olympic track and field trials in Eugene, Oregon. He showed just how dazzling he is. And my goodness, watching him race, it's breathtaking for folks, him from the 757. So glad to see that for Grant. And that's going to be coming up here. Olympics. Are you a big Olympics guy or not so much?
Huge.
You're a huge Olympics guy. Okay.
I honestly try to, the basketball is going to get all my attention. Love watching the track and field, but I do try to sneak some looks at the gymnastics, the other things that are going on, the volleyball.
Are you a water polo guy?
Water polo, because they do some crazy things in that. That would be the thing you need to get yourself involved in, is water polo. It would be great to see you get dunked by some of those guys, pulled under like they do with each other. It is unbelievable what goes on below the water.
You
But
really wish bad things upon me too frequently.
I am big on the Olympics. I think it's a great thing, and I still think winning Olympic gold in basketball is the ultimate. You want to win a national title, you want to win a world title, but winning the Olympic title, to me, is still right on par with all those, right on par with both those other ones.
Well, I would tell you that it's, I think, a foregone conclusion for the women to take the gold. I'm not as sure as the men. In fact, the women are minus 1,800 to win the gold. France, Belgium, Japan, China, Australia are all at plus 2,900. The men are minus 550, with Canada at plus 1,100. Canada with Jamal Murray, France at plus 1,600, Serbia plus 1,600, Greece plus 2,400, and Germany plus 2,900 there. So there you have it for the Olympics coming up, as it's just a couple weeks away. In fact, a couple weeks away from getting up in earnest here. As I know, did you watch the men's basketball exhibition of the night or no?
Yep, watched probably 98% of that with against Canada. I missed the opening, probably opening 3 or 4 minutes when Canada was dusting the U.S. team. But
then that wouldn't be 98%.
I watched that.
That would be more like 88 to 92%, just to be politically correct and aggravate you, which I know you love me doing from another state right now. So
my thing is, I think U.S. wins. I don't want to say easy. They're just too talented not to, but everybody else has NBA players. France is the one to watch out for. We got to remember, 3 of the top 6 draft picks this year were French guys. So, watch out for France now. We don't normally say that, but watch out for France. Canada, I thought Canada would definitely be, if I'm not mistaken, that's who beat us last time in the Olympics. But I think U.S. is going to be all right. It's just too much star power out there, and I think it's the guys have the right mentality. They share the ball. Nobody is too big for the britches out there. So I think U.S. wins it, but it will not be a blowout. The women will win probably by an average 15, 17, 18 points a game. I don't know about the men. Okay. They'll win, but I don't think it'll be that big of a margin.
Not as big of a spread. Okay. Yes. Fair enough. All right, our final couple of minutes here as the rain is starting to fall. Oh, I would show you, but I'm so depressed. There went my pool extravaganza today. I'm gonna cry crocodile tears.
What you should do is, like, when it starts to lightning and thunder, that would be a good time to go into the pool and give us a perspective of what it's like to be in the pool when the elements are upset around you. That I'd watch.
Why do you? First of all, you're supposed to be a guy that cares about health and well-being and safety of individuals. And why would you want me to, as I watch my folks bring back? By the way, I told you Snuggles got loose the other day. I was in the pool. He runs in the forest. He runs in an adjacent neighborhood. I'm running around with blisters on my feet because I get out of the pool, go chasing the little doggy because he was chasing a rabbit. Let me tell you something. You'll get me on a rant here about fences. If you have a fence and you have a hole in your fence, you ought to have someone put a hole in your head. I just hate that. Dog goes running through the holes. Then he get the holes to the other side. He's in the neighborhood almost near the movie theater by my house. I mean, he could have got killed. We're so glad we got Snuggles.
Well,
it would have been bad.
People, this is why I say what I'm saying, people. The irresponsibility of a Matt Hatfield sitting in the doggone pool giving us his jokes. Meanwhile, his dog.
No, my folks let the dog out. I didn't let the dog out without a leash.
It doesn't matter. If you were home, it would have not happened.
It would have. He still would have opened the door and let the dog out. I would have been chasing him then.
It's 100% on you. Don't try to weasel out of it.
How am I at home for this?
Killed because of you. And this is why people think I'm ignorant and I bash Matt too much. If he was not in the doggone pool, he would have been going to find the doggone dog where the doggone dog went.
5 minutes later.
So that's my whole point. But then again, he'll keep on
your Yankees. I hope your Yankees lose 19-2 today.
Well, you know what? Nothing's a given in Baltimore. Baltimore.
What's the pitching matchup today? You should know this. What is it? You'll make me look it up. You don't even know, do you? Look at this. He's going to guess.
Think,
He thinks.
I think it's Stroman.
You're
Stroman
definitely
for the. Yeah, I think it's Stroman for the Yankees and Baltimore. Is it Burns?
No, it's Rodriguez versus Luis Gil. Bad job by you knowing what you're going to see.
I should have known that because they said it last night on the game when I was watching. I should have known that.
So how much you were paying attention?
Well,
since you want me to get hit by lightning in the pool, I hope it pours buckets up there today at Camden Yards and your team loses 19-2. Right before
I should say this. I should say this because I'm giving out miscommunication. I'm in Baltimore, but I'm not going to tonight's game. I'm going to tomorrow morning's game.
Oh.
Yeah, I have another
honk around town and then go to tomorrow's game. Okay.
Yeah,
Are you going to be signing autographs on the concourse with Ripken and Jim Palmer and all them? You're going to be on the concourse meet and greet? Is that what we're going to be doing here?
I have another undertaking that I have to go to tonight.
Undertaker? You going to go see the Undertaker? Oh, you're undertaking. My bad. I thought you said somebody Undertaker.
Yeah, I've it's my crush. I got to go see one of my biggest crushes ever, and that's what I'll be involved in tonight. I couldn't get tickets to today. I tried, but Scalpers wanted $500 for seats that are normally $75. I'm not paying $500.
Yeah.
Again, I ain't got that kind of money.
He might pay $5.25 for the nosebleed seats. He's not going to pay that much. He's cheap.
But I got the tickets for tomorrow, 11:30 start time. A little different. I'll be there for that one. But tonight is more little get down stuff tonight.
Okay. Well, I still hope they lose 14-1 tomorrow.
No, I don't think so. It's going to be a close one today. You know what? I think the Yankees can take 2 out of these 3. I think they can.
Well, they're halfway there. So,
but I got the one. That's what.
Next week we'll hear from perhaps Anthony Hawkins, Alonzo Ricks, Anthony Joffre. We'll definitely hear from Phil Steele. He is scheduled to come on with us. We shall see when we do connect with Mr. Greenberg and others, possibly one of the new first-year head football coaches, and that's going to wrap it up for this latest installment of 757 Saturday Sports Talk on Hova Sports TV. I'm going to go feed the ducks in the rain. Ed, you have a swell time up there in Crab Cake Land. Maybe you'll run into our buddy AJ Risser and some other O's fans that can throw eggs at you, and we'll see you back here when you get home safe and sound in the Commonwealth of VA.
Good Lord willing, everything will work itself out, and be back to do it tomorrow. We got through a couple glitches today with the internet going in and out, but I didn't get pulled over, thank God, so far, and we'll hopefully do it again next week.
Enjoy the tennis. We thank Mr. Sonny Dearth for coming on as well. Tennis expert into 757 Pilot Daily Press, Virginia Media as well. Alcaraz and Djokovic tomorrow. Ed's got Joker. I've got Alcaraz. We'll see who's right, who's wrong. And as always, we'll talk to you again on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Hit that subscribe button. You'll get notifications when we go live with all of our podcasts and all the shows, all the live sports streaming that we do with the people at PLEX, whether it be football, whether it be lacrosse, whether it be soccer, whether it be you name it, right here. Oh, you just got in. Better late than never. Lynn Burke. We thank Lynn for tuning in. You can go back and watch what you missed, Lynn, including your former Daily Press colleague, Sonny Dearth, who was on in the second segment of the show. For all of the guests and all the viewers and listeners and commenters and tweeters, we thank you all. He's the coach, Ed Young, up in Baltimore. I'm Matt Hatfield. We'll talk to you next week from the Plex or somewhere in the 757. You never know. This has been another edition of 757 Saturday Sports Talk on Cova Sports TV. Take care, everybody.